Leader, third party.
From the very beginning, the Shawnigan Lake community has been abundantly clear. Depositing 5 million tons of contaminated soil in our watershed is an unacceptable risk to our drinking water and our community. And after years of relentless efforts by the Shawnigan community, some of whom are in the gallery right now, and seemingly endless court battles, the previous Minister of Environment revoked the permit in February of 2017. And I thank her for that. And now, 2 years later, the company is proposing to leave the 100,000 tons of soil that was deposited at the site that overlooks our drinking water source, a site that Shawnigan Creek, which feeds the lake, wraps around. My questions for you, Honourable Speaker, is for the Minister of Environment and Climate Change Strategy. He has a decision to make. Will the soil be allowed to stay, or will the Minister put the long-term interests and well-being of the people of Shawnigan first and order the soil removed?
Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. This is a long-standing issue, and I understand the considerable concern of the residents of Shawnigan Lake about the integrity and safety of their drinking water. I also recognize the tremendous amount of effort that members of the community and the member of the third party has put into trying to resolve this issue, resulting from a decision made several years ago by the previous government. We have taken a number of measures to ensure that there is transparency in the review of both the plan, the testing, information on the landfill, sampling data, inspection reports. The order and warnings are all made public for people to view. The member, as well as members of her community, have recently, in April, attended briefings with officials from my ministry and the Ministry of Energy and Mines. The ministry is working hard to review the closure plans submitted, to gather all the information necessary to provide to me for a decision to ensure that whatever the final decision is, it maintains the integrity of the drinking water for the residents. That decision will be made this spring.
House Leader, third party, on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. It's interesting to note that those inspection reports are actually signed off by an engineer named Mike Acton, who used to be with Active Engineering, which was the company that had a secret profit-sharing deal with the quarry owners. And I also wonder if the Minister has considered the many other issues that are associated with this site, the endless questions about the integrity of the liner beneath the landfill, the concerns raised by a Ministry of Environment hydrologist that the monitoring wells beneath the site are at the wrong depth to determine the impacts to groundwater, the interaction of the high levels of sulfur with the metals and hydrocarbons resulting in sulfuric acid, the contaminants showing up in the surface water below this site. This is only a very short sample of a very long list of serious concerns about this site and the process that resulted in a permit being issued in the first place. We have drought conditions across Vancouver Island, Honourable Speaker. Water restrictions are already in place. Shawnigan Lake is one of the few natural drinking water reservoirs on southern Vancouver Island. My question through you, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Environment, Climate Change Strategy. Does he think that allowing for the potential contamination of a drinking water source for 12,000 people and one of the few natural reservoirs on southern Vancouver Island is an acceptable risk?
Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I want to assure the member and the people in the gallery that our government takes the protection of drinking water, human health, protection of the environment extremely seriously. That is why we are putting a tremendous amount in the Ministry of Diligence to reviewing all of the aspects of the closure plan, all of the test results, the information provided by the member, information provided not only by the qualified professional to whom the member referred, but by an independent qualified professional retained by the ministry. This is a difficult issue. We are doing due diligence. The ministry is looking at every aspect of the issues raised by the member and the community. All of that information will be provided to me for a final decision. We take the protection of drinking water extremely seriously.